We live in the urban millennium, with more people living in cities than in rural areas. And as more people are drawn to cities, more live a life in anonymity. Cities have this great potential to be places of social and cultural exchange. You can wander around nameless, talking to people you know and people you don't know, across boundaries of culture, age, and background. But these days, are we really engaging with people around us? Or are we hiding behind the screens of our smartphones, waiting for these social apps to go beep? And so this is when my colleagues and I had this light bulb moment. What if we could get neighbors together and get them talking? What if we could engage them to be more active in their neighborhoods? And we designed the urban game ZWERM, which is Dutch for swarm. And we played it in Ghent in February-March 2013. ZWERM is the prototype of a research project meant to investigate how we can integrate, embed social game technology in the environment. And let me show you what this game is all about. So 2 neighborhoods competed in teams for the highest score. We played the game over the duration of 1 month, divided in 4 campaigns of 1 week. We planted 10 playful physical components in these neighborhoods, and we developed an online platform with tasks that people could explore. We also had game masters, which were civil servants from the City of Ghent, and they knew the area well, and they knew some people well. And they developed these really cool hands-on missions which people could carry on. So let me show you this first component. It's a huge tree, a totem-like sculpture designed for people to gather around. And it contained a computer, it contained an RFID card reader, and it worked with these kinds of game cards, RFID game cards. And we distributed in the neighborhood 1,441 of them. We dropped them in the post boxes of people. And a player could take this card and scan it at this tree, and that would win, he or she, 10 points. Now, if they would do this with somebody they never checked in before that campaign, they would each get 40 points. Now, the next of these components is a sparrow. It's a wooden sculpture about this size, a wooden artifact, and it was filled with sensors and components. And if you whistled when you were in the vicinity, the sparrow would light up, and you would get 10 points for your neighborhood. We hung 8 of those at the window panes of volunteering hosts. Next is a mission pad. It's a tool for game masters to award points for players for completing missions. And here you see a game master who goes door to door to award 100 points to this player who had a design, who completed the design a ZWERM poster mission. Online, people could send messages anonymously with their game username. But they could also answer questions from the city government, such as, how would you like to see your neighborhood in 2050? Or they could add points to a map with the most beautiful places from their neighborhood, and even the most dirty places of the neighborhood, which was later used for a cleanup mission. Now, what were the results of this game? What happened? Did it work? Well, the first week, not so much happened, actually. People were still discovering what this game was all about. They were explaining each other, they were recruiting new players. And of course, one team won. And if there's a winner, there's a loser. And this is when it started to get really interesting. Because the people from Team 1, they started to self-organize. They said, well, we are social too. We can do this. And tactics started forming in both teams. And so while Team 2 was lining up at this tree for maximal efficiency, they even got a statistics guy in for this. Team 1 was having a party. They had fire pits, they had beverages, soup. There was even dancing and some music at some weeks. And, well, guess what? Team 1 struck back. And by now, all kinds of really funny, crazy stuff was going on in these neighborhoods. For instance, in this cafe, there was the screen, which was normally used to project soccer games, was now used to project the ZWERM score. And even crazier things like players sending out their kids to recruit new players, going door to door. Or this man, who was sometimes whistling for hours behind his curtain. One player described it as whistling concerts, and it was really amazing for the perception in the neighborhood. Well, and week 3, the final sprint was even more exciting. And for the last week, we wanted to do something special. And so we came up with this Sparrow happy hour, in which players could win 50 points instead of 10 for a whistle. And let's check what happens. Well, that week, the score went through the roof. And the game, it ended in a draw. Well, and some players, they said they were going to miss their tree. We learned so much from ZWERM. We saw what happens when people get together, start talking, start participating, and start collaborating. And something magical happened in this process. And it was not just about competition. It was not just about scoring these points. It was a really meaningful experience. Players said they met on average 50 new people. And they said to us that they wanted to meet these again. So imagine what happens if citizens, city administrators, and designers start collaborating and imagining new ways of living in cities and new ways of managing them. Urban social game technology can empower neighborhoods. But in the end, it's the mentality switch that can only bring a lasting change. So don't wait for a game to do it, and start giving your soul to your neighborhoods now.